There was something behind that closed door that attracted the people passing by. For years, I always saw this door of this abandoned mansion closed, had heard many true and false stories about this mansion. People say that the mansion is haunted by ghosts, that I always come to my grandmother's house to spend holidays and hear these stories from the village people. In childhood, all this seemed true, but now it all seems like stories. One day I asked my grandmother about the mansion. At first grandmother was scared by the name of the mansion, but on insistence she told me, many years ago, that mansion used to be very prosperous, there was all the happiness there, the elder Thakur of the mansion was very kind and he was respected in the entire village. A few days later, his younger son got married and the days of the mansion were over as soon as the new daughter-in-law came to her in-laws' house for the first time. As soon as I entered the mansion, the sounds of dogs crying started echoing. People considered it a mere coincidence and forgot it. The new daughter-in-law was very beautiful to look at. Both of them had a love marriage. Actually, Junior Thakur once went to the forest for hunting, where he met his new daughter-in-law and fell in her love trap. Who knew that the new daughter-in-law is not an ordinary girl but a witch who does her work by trapping her victims in the trap of love? The elder Thakur passed away just 2 days after the marriage, and the splendor of the mansion also went away. Now almost always something untoward would happen. The antics of the new daughter-in-law also started irritating the younger Thakur, and he started keeping an eye on the daughter-in-law. And one night Junior Thakur saw him doing black magic. After listening to both of them, the younger Thakur killed the new daughter-in-law there with a big knife and left the village with the rest of his family. That mansion has been closed since then. People say that the soul of the new daughter-in-law lives there today. The next morning I made up my mind to go to the mansion. I wanted to see how much truth is there in the stories people tell. That I also took the help of my brother to help me in this work. We reached the mansion in the evening when we got the chance. Due to the fear of the mansion, there was very little movement of people on this route. Of the rising sun, this deserted mansion looked even more frightening in the light. The door remained open and we went inside. There was a small garden which was now full of bushes. After crossing the garden we reached the mansion. That I looked at the door of the mansion, I got a strange feeling. It seemed as if someone, you are saying, I am opening the door. We both looked at each other and then decided to go inside. There was an old lock on the door which was tied with some sacred thread. Just then a voice came from behind, "Go away." I turned and saw that my brother Ronit was standing with a big stone to break the lock. I quickly moved away from the front. After 2 or 3 attempts the lock broke. That we looked at each other with devilish smiles and quickly opened the lock and removed it. Then I pushed the door and it opened with a scary sound. Till now I read that I heard the story of Haveli from grandmother and decided to go to Haveli with my brother and reached Haveli in the evening. And opened the door. Our eyes sparkled as soon as the door opened. We started moving slowly into the mansion. As soon as we went inside, the door closed on its own. My brother got a little scared seeing this. I told him that maybe this happened because it was an old door. We took out the torch from our bag and started inspecting the surroundings. Due to being closed for years, the mansion was completely filled with dust and there were spider webs everywhere. That mansion was as beautiful as it was scary. At this time we were standing in the hall, in front of which there were stairs to go up, and there were corridors and rooms all around. There were animal heads on the walls which looked even more scary at that time. But nothing like a ghost has been seen yet. We decided to tour the entire mansion. We both started looking in different rooms. After sifting through the dust of 2-3 rooms, she moved upstairs. That I was moving forward in the upper corridor when a sound came. I was shocked. I started moving in the direction of the sound. As I went a little further, I saw a shadow, who went to the adjacent room in a moment that I thought maybe it was Ronit. I called out, "Tony, are you there, Donut?" Then Ronit's voice came from below, "Yes, what happened? Have you seen a ghost that you are shouting?" I peeked down and saw Ronit standing below that. I just shook my head no and slowly started moving towards that room. The door of the room was slightly open. I slowly opened the door and went inside. Shined the torchlight, but no one was seen. That I thought maybe the thought of seeing a ghost has become too much in my mind. That is why I am having panic attacks. That room seemed a little different to me from the rest. There was a strange heaviness there. There was a different coldness from that place. Then my eyes went to the picture on the wall. There was a painting of a couple. A boy was sitting on a chair and a beautiful girl was standing next to him. There was a different bright sparkle in the eyes on his face, as if he was about to speak. Black like a serpent, long braids, fair complexion, sharp eyes. Maybe this was the new daughter-in-law. I started feeling strangely restless. I felt as if someone was staring at me. I wanted to get out of there as soon as possible. As soon as I turned to go out, the door closed with a loud noise. I was horrified. When I tried to open the door, a shrill laughter started echoing in the room and my throat started getting dry due to fear. Till now you have read that I and my brother, both of us, enter the mansion, and while seeing the mansion, I see a father-in-law following whom. I reached the younger daughter-in-law's room. After seeing the painting, I want to go out, but the door closes automatically and the sound of someone's laughter starts echoing. The sound of laughter was so loud that I closed my ears. After a while everything became quiet and the door also opened automatically. I quickly ran out of the room and started searching for Ronit. I just wanted to get out of that mansion as soon as possible. I came down the stairs and called Ronit. "Ronit, Ronnie, where are you?" But no reply came. Now I started getting worried. I searched for him at every possible place, but could not find him. Then suddenly a voice came from above. "Save. Save." I quickly ran upwards, but there was nothing above. The sound also stopped coming. I called out in fear, "Ronit, are you here? Come on, don't joke. We have to get out of here now." But no answer came. Now I became even more scared. I was moving forward in the corridor when a voice came from the corridor to my right. It was quite dark here, so I shone the torchlight and Ronnie was standing there. I felt relieved after seeing him. But before that I tell him something that I saw the shadow of that which behind Ronnie. She looked at me with her long black braid and a devilish smile on her face, and the next moment her braid got wrapped around Ronnie's neck. And she disappeared into the darkness, pulling him. I was left numb after seeing all this. And as soon as I understood the situation, I ran on the same path but did not find him. I looked in each room one by one. This was the last room in the next room of the corridor. The door was closed. I pushed it but it did not open. I pushed the door with all my might and the door suddenly opened and I fell down. I got up quickly. It was very surprising that the entire mansion was dark but this room was illuminated. Looking at the condition of this room, it does not seem at all that it has been closed for many years. This was a very clean room. There was a distinct coolness in the room. I looked around the room and saw nothing. Then a loud sound came that I turned and saw a small box lying there. I picked it up. It had some pictures of a man wearing a white kurta and dhoti, waving his mustache. Perhaps these pictures were of Bade Thakur. There was also a letter along with the photographs. I started reading it. Honorable Thakur Man Singh Ji, your suspicion turned out to be absolutely correct. Your younger brother's wife is a witch. She has set her sights on this village and will make a sacrifice every new moon night to increase her powers. You have to eliminate him before he can complete his work. Saints has said that the power of the witch is in her braid, and by cutting her braid she will be destroyed. Saints prove this. A knife has been sent, you have to kill it before taking the sacrifice. I had understood that whether this room or not belonged to the elder Thakor, and now I had to kill that witch, now I had to save my brother. I quickly started searching for that knife and found it under those pictures. I picked her up, and as she got up to come out, I wondered where she was. As soon as these thoughts came to my mind, a voice echoed there. You will find her there in her room. I was shocked. But I understood that it was the soul of Elder Thakor who wanted to help me. I quickly came to that witch's room that I opened the door with fear. The appearance of the room had changed. The candles were burning. My throat started getting dry due to fear. I slowly stepped inside. Then I saw Ronnie lying on the floor and candles were burning all around him. I understood that she wanted to sacrifice my brother. I quickly went near him and tried to wake him up. Suddenly I felt that someone was standing behind me, that I was scared and tried to look back when he attacked me hard. My eyes opened to the sound of mantras. I remembered how he attacked me, and after that my eyes went dark. His back was towards me. I took out a knife from my pocket and slowly started moving towards him. After reaching some distance from her, I immediately moved my hand to cut her braid. She turned and looked at me. Blood was swimming in her eyes. She was so angry that it seemed she was going to eat me. She held her braid around my neck and pinned me against the wall. I tried to scream, "Ronnie, save! Save Ronnie!" Seeing me struggling, she started laughing loudly that I continued my efforts. Suddenly, Ronnie started regaining consciousness that I started trying to shout louder. When Ronnie saw me in this condition, he got horrified that I signaled him to pick up the knife which had fallen from me. Before the witch could turn her attention to Ronnie, she threw the knife towards me. Wasting no time, I grabbed the knife and cut off the witch's braid around her neck. As soon as her braid was cut, the entire mansion echoed with her scream, and within no time the witch turned into ashes and flew into the air. As soon as he died, there was a feeling of lightness in the atmosphere. Ronnie quickly hugged me. When both of us came out of the room, we looked down and saw that the wretched door was wide open. There was no limit to our happiness. If you liked the story, please like and subscribe for more terrifying tales.